Welcome to Brian Native Sports. My name is Brian, and today is another day as we celebrate being East African. Today, we're going to be looking at the East African Pamoja bid, and of course, we're going to be looking at the African Cup of Nations 2027. It's been over 47 years since the region hosted the African Showpiece, the first of its kind, of course, being the 1976 tournament where Ethiopia, which is currently part of the East African community, being part of the teams as well as the nations that hosted that interesting tournament. It's been years and years of preparation as well as years and years of the people in the world of football are trying as much as they can to bring attention to East Africa. And right now, it is now our time to shine. So today I'm going to be looking at a few things that you need to know about our region. And of course, like you all know that East Africa won the 2027 bid, and now the African Cup of Nations is going to be hosted inside. That is our boundaries of our nation. Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania are the three countries that have fought so hard to see that this comes to become a reality. And of course, the nations coming out and submitting a few of the stadia they have in their countries to show how ready they are. And today it's going to be looking at, of course, how things are going. I'm going to be giving an update from all the three countries, from Tanzania, from Kenya, and from Uganda, where the infrastructure development, where the preparations are now getting to. Beginning, of course, with the stadiums that were submitted in for these interesting tournaments, and beginning with, of course, the stadiums from Kenya. The Moi Karashani Stadium, like I told you, was closed a few months back for innovations. The stadium is a 60 capacity seater, and it's located all the way in Nairobi. And of course, one of the things that you can say, the clubs, Tusk FC are the teams that play, Tusk FC as well as Mathare United are the teams that play in that stadium. And the progress has been so substantial, of course, with new innovations in the stadiums already, looking at things like VAR rooms being prepared, looking at things like the canopy as well, one of the few things that has been worked on, and also looking at a lot of the adjustments, especially with the road systems around the stadium. It's the biggest stadium in Kenya, and already it was one of the stadiums that were submitted as the top stadiums in Kenya. Of course, alongside the Nyayo Stadium, another stadium that you really also would want to see host a lot of the games. But the two biggest stadiums in Kenya that were part of the bid, the Talanta Stadium, that is also called the Talanta Sports Complex. I spoke about it in the previous video. It's a 60 capacity seater. So that means Kenya is looking forward to having two 60 capacity seater stadiums, still located all the way in Nairobi. Also looking at, of course, the locality of the stadiums. It looks like Nairobi look very ready. Nyayo Stadium as well, Nairobi, Kenya, a 30 capacity seater. Also another stadium that is looking forward to be renovated, and looking at the few things that are supposed to be worked on, especially the seating arrangements, the stands as well are supposed to be worked on. I've also seen Kipchoge Keino Stadium. It's another stadium that has a capacity of 10,000, but of course the capacity looking forward to be elevated to something like 15,000 to see that it gets better. And another stadium that also that I've looked at, especially in Kenya, that has also been worked on, the Mefara Stadium is another. It's in fact it's called the Amfara Stadium, which is also going to be ready by the end of this month. This stadium is one of the few stadiums that are looking forward, especially to integrate the other sports disciplines. You remember the Talanta Sports Stadium, like I told you, it's not going to be incorporating things like athletics. So Farah is one of the few stadiums that, for over now it's getting like 2-3 years since 2021, it was under renovation, and it looks like it's all getting set. Like I told you, the adjustments are going to be in forms of the canopy, the seating stands, as well as the track and pitch itself, they are looking forward to spending over 685 Kenyan shillings in form of money to really, renovate the stadium. It looks like it's all ready, and what they're looking forward to doing is it's going to be hosting a lot of the local games, especially for the underage teams, as well as hosting some of the club games. So it is another stadium that looks also set to be renovated. But of course, for Kenya, that looks like the complete list of stadiums that are going to be worked on. For Tanzania, the biggest is the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium that has a capacity of 60,000, and of course, it's the most advanced stadium in East Africa already, looking like the top stadium. In fact, already now the war is between these two countries, Kenya and Tanzania, on which stadium is going to be hosting the opening as well as the closing games. And of course, the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium, looking forward to being part of those stadiums. Like I told you, its construction is something that costed over 50 million US dollars. And of course, like I told you, the history about how they came to construct that stadium, and how a Chinese company came out and it gained the access to constructing this stadium, which was previously going to be given to another French company. And of course, the bidding as well as the budget was a little bit higher, but in the big sense that Kenya, of course, and Tanzania, two teams or two nations now looking in the east, that is China, looking forward to help them build the infrastructure. Already, you know that the railway system, the standard gauge railway, as well as the expressways, are constructed by Chinese companies. So the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium looking like another stadium that really is going to be one of the best stadiums, especially in the 2027 tournament. The other stadium is the Chamanzi Stadium. I think the difference between the big stadiums in Tanzania as well as the smaller stadiums, the capacity differs too much, because now when you look at the 60,000 Benjamin Mkapa Stadium, and then the next stadium that was, of course, put there, of course, I'm not saying it's the biggest stadium, but you look at the Chamazi complex, 10,000. You remember that Azam FC is the team that hosts its game in this stadium, but they also have CCM Kirumba Stadium that has a capacity of 35,000, and it looks more of an unfinished stadium. For the Benjamin Mkapa, a few things need to be worked on for it to be 100% ready, but it looks like all set. But for the other stadiums like the CC Chirumba Stadium, it needs work, especially on the sitting areas, the stands as well, the restrooms, and all the other things that need, of course, a little bit of the renovations. And for Tanzania, of course, they're expecting to build other stadia, one or two stadiums. In fact, a report coming in from there that they're going to be constructing another 60,000 seater stadium, a new complete one that is going to be, of course, so added onto the list of the stadiums they already have. In Uganda as well, Mandela National Stadium undergoing renovation, looking like already like 85 or 90% complete. A few of the things that have changed in the stadium: before, it was individuals who, or spectators, coming in and sitting on the scrubs. In there wasn't like any kind of like seating formation. So now already they have plastic chairs that are already inserted into the stadium. The surface itself, the running track, all of them have already all been given a new facelift. And of course, the lighting system as well has been worked on. A new lighting system is going to be installed in the stadium. The drainage system as well, because it was one of the few issues that it was facing, demarcating the whole area around the stadium, which includes the fencing system around the whole area that covers the stadium, which had been encroached on by a few people. And Nachivo Stadium, another stadium that has also been constructed in Uganda with a capacity of 35,000 in the central business city of Kampala, looking like, of course, one of the stadiums that are ready, but I have my doubts about the security, as well as the freedom that the stadium has to exercise things like the parking systems and all that. I don't think it can accommodate the business around it, the personal business of people, as well as the football matches and the activities that come with football. Football itself is already so much of an excessive kind of activity, so you cannot add business around it. So that is why I think for Nachivo Stadium, I still have my reservations whether it will be hosting a few of the games in there. On the other side, there is already talk about the Akibua Stadium, a new 35 capacity stadium that is supposed to be constructed. Two Egyptian companies were given that kind of they're given this contract to construct the stadium, and already work is expected to be beginning soon, because the financing is supposed to be coming in from these companies, and then the government will be coming in later to cater for these expenses. But already they are already looking forward to kickstarting. Already the land has been given and the area has been given to the contractors to really do their excavations and do their work as early as possible. So the question would be, for the stadiums that are not ready, like I told you, like the Nyayo stadiums, and then the other stadiums, they are supposed to be renovated by, for example, for Kenya, the KDF, the Kenya Defense Forces, were given that job to renovate these stadiums. And of course, I've had a lot of people coming in the comment section, coming out, and just like that gentleman that you're seeing out there, coming out and asking, of course, explaining, because of course the questions were, why are they giving these contracts to these companies or these military bodies like the KDF, like the UPDF in Uganda as well, for the Nambole Stadium. And I think this gentleman came out and answered the question very well. I won't go through the whole answer as he gave it, but just to summarize it a little bit, usually the procurement process for these bodies, the defense forces, usually they are process of procuring things, and of course doing buying things and going out and their budgets and releasing money and all that stuff does not take as long as the other bodies. There is not a lot of structures when it comes to releasing money and releasing funds, and also doing things like making orders from foreign countries. For example, in Uganda here, UPDF were supposed to make an order for all the lights that are the floodlights that are supposed to be in the stadium. So if it was just any other company, it would require a lot, and when it comes to even the taxes itself, they would be taxed a little bit higher as compared to bodies like the defense forces. So that is why usually it's usually these two countries, I think, decided to give it to these defense forces in there. And then the other question also would be, are they going to be incorporating VAR and all the other technologies that are seen in games like for the African Cup of Nations, the goal line technology and all that stuff? And of course, the answer is yes. Yes, we are going to be seeing goal line technology here in our East African nations, in Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya, because it is now the standard for the games on the African level, especially to do the African Cup of Nations. So every stadium that is constructed has to have the ability to incorporate all those technologies, including, of course, the VAR rooms, including the technology for the goal line technology and all that stuff. You need to have at least accreditation from the bodies that organize these kind of technologies. So we expect advancement in our stadium, and the reason why I think this, even if we don't perform, especially on the pitch, the way we expected to be performing, there are a lot of things we are going to be benefiting with our country's learning of how to, because we're going to be exposed to a lot of technology, we're going to be exposed to a lot of modern ways of doing things. So to me, I think that is the way to go, and that is where we're going to be beginning at least the advancement in our game, even our local game. We're going to borrow a few things from the way these tournaments are hosted, organized, and prepared, and we can apply that. And in fact, I really would love to look at our infrastructure development getting to a next level, because we have people, skilled labor, coming in and giving us ideas of how to do things like constructing stadia, especially easy to maintain stadia. I think that will really be something that we shall live with for so many years when you look at the way things are being done. And of course, the other thing that we are supposed to be looking at is not only the sports infrastructure, but even the infrastructure around the stadiums. Looking at the road network already, Uganda, one of the few countries that have good road networks now, getting better every single day. Around Kampala here, access to stadiums like Nambole Stadium, if you're coming in from the Entebbe Airport. It's easy for you to travel all the way. It's a 40 minutes drive away to Mandela National Stadium through the expressway, Entebbe Expressway. Of course, having the longest bridge all the way in East Africa, it's called Nambigiriwa bridge. It's a very long bridge. It's 1.5 kilometers. So it's the longest bridge in East Africa. And a lot of people don't know about that bridge, but it's one of the longest in East Africa. And the road network in Kampala here looks a little bit better, but also the question would be, what about the other stadiums that are going to be dispersed all the way in, for example, Lira, where we have the Akibwa Stadium. That is what government is supposed to be looking at, of course, constructing better roads and the air transport as well, because you know that for you to have at least a game hosted in a city, you need to have access to all forms of transport, including the air transport and as well as the road transport. So we're also looking forward to seeing whether the air transport will be catered for. Then on the other side, looking at the other from in Kenya, road networks are getting better. In Tanzania, of course, getting better as well. In for example, when you go away from the road transport and you go to the railways transport, I think that is where countries like Uganda are lagging, because in Kenya already we have the standard gauge railway already in function, and of course it consists of a meter gauge network and a new standard gauge network, and one of them connecting that is at the Mombasa ports all the way to the inner Nairobi cities, and well, as well as of course connecting to other countries like borders of Uganda in there, and of course the Tanzanian standard gauge railway is also one of the other things that are going to be worked on. And of course, already I've seen that in November 2021, that is Tanzania Railway Corporation received 3 modern locomotives that are H10 series worth 22 billion Tanzanian shillings to strengthen their meter gauge railway line. And of course, these were ordered from Malaysia. So we are looking forward to seeing how they are working in Uganda already. There's plans of course of improving on our railway system, which has been very dormant for so many years. It has been working on the cargo, especially traveling. If you're traveling with cargo, for people who do things like, for example, products, you need to transport them from the coastline all the way coming in board. They've been, of course, using that, but not maximally. It has not been functioning for individuals, for people to travel from stadium to stadium, from city to city. No, it hasn't been working. So we are looking forward to seeing that being operated on. And in fact, in January 2023, the Uganda government terminated a contract of the China Harbour Engineering company that were given the job to construct this standard gauge railway. And now already a new company has been given. The company is called Yapi Mekazi Group. It's from Turkey. It has been given that job to create and develop this standard gauge railway, and it's expected to begin working this year. And we expect over that is 273 kilometers of this railway. So we expect as well by 2027 we'll have something to work with, something to improve our road network as well as improve the way things are being done. But all in all, on the air transport, Uganda has only one, that is an international airport. The other airport, Hoima Airport, is being constructed, nearly completion. But now we have a problem because that region is not going to be hosting games in there. So that really calls in for a shift in gears, a shift in plan of how we are going to be having another airport in northern Uganda, just close to Lira City. That is one of the challenges that Uganda is going to be facing. Countries like, for example, Kenya have already at least 3 significant airports that are already functioning as international airports. The Jomo Kenyatta Airport, we have the Eldoret International Airport and the Kisumu International Airport, all functioning very well. So their air system system looks a little bit better. In Tanzania, we have the Kilimanjaro International Airport that is also situated in Arusha and Moshi. Then we also have the Julius Nyerere Airport. It's also for those that are visiting Dar es Salaam, it's also a very good option. Abed Amani Karume International Airport is also another one that, of course, that works for the people that are heading all the way to Zanzibar. So it looks like the other two countries are all set, and they look better off when it comes to air transport, railway transport, and even in stadia, it looks like they are well off as compared to Uganda. Uganda looks like it's lagging in everything, which worries me a little bit, especially with the way things are happening. Already now, like countries like Kenya, for example, when you look at their in bid to really improve their stadia already, their president did the groundbreaking for the new stadium, the Talanta Sports Stadium, and we already saw the plans, we already saw the excavation works already getting on. And in Uganda here, all we hear is, of course, things are going to be worked on, but we don't see exactly the physical working on the things that are supposed to at least give the hope, especially to the general public, that progress is out there. I don't know whether we shall meet the deadlines of 2025. I see Kenya. Yes, of course, there are a few challenges. Of course, a lot of questioning of the amount of money that are going to be spent on this stadium. In Tanzania as well, there's also been slow progress when it comes to improving the other stadia that are not ready, and up to at least already have a stadium that is up there. If for us in Uganda here, we already have a stadium that is having 45, the capacity of 45,000, but still it's not 100% ready. When you look at the renovation works, they've taken longer than expected. In fact, these renovation works were supposed to be ending by last year, November or December. In fact, December was the deadline. But now we are already into 3 or 4 months into the new year, and things look like they are still lagging with no clear progress. So entirely, when you ask me, the hotels, I think with here, this is where we all score better. Nairobi and Kenya as a whole are having better, of course, facilities. Tanzania, because of the amount of the tourists that come into there, I think the hotel system and that is not an issue where the visitors can come and stay. That to me would not be an issue, though I think Dar es Salaam looks a little bit more expensive as compared to the other regions in there. So we expect a little bit of improvements, especially in the other sectors that they are not 100% progressing. So all in all, I believe as a nation like Uganda, we expect things to pick up in the next coming 2 or 3 months. But as a nation, as East Africa as a nation, we believe that we will host a better tournament. Though one of the challenges I think we shall be facing is doing things late. And to me, that has always been a problem, especially with our governments. And we don't know why, but of course, it's just in nature. People love doing things in the late hours over the day. So let's hope to see something better, and I believe that I'll be giving you all the updates as well as all the key elements when it comes to this tournament 2027. My name is Brian. This is the Sports Arena, and of course, all you can do before you leave this page, please like the video for you to have notifications, as well as for you to be recommended to all the other contents that we have, and as well share with someone, subscribe to the show as well, and be a better person when it comes to this page. My name is Brian. Stay safe. Enjoy yourself. Bye-bye.